explodes. I'm going to be putting out public service announcements here on air, just warning everybody to watch your back, lock your houses, your cars. We had a little cheap barbecue pit behind the office. Somebody stole that. Crime is exploding everywhere, and the media will not tell you this. In the past, they would publicize crime statistics. The crime statistics are available from the Justice Department, states, and cities. But they're not advertising the fact that crime is just exploding exponentially everywhere. What they will publicize is a point a caller made last night to my Sunday radio show we do every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time. And that was the Houston Chronicle saying, oh, we've got to go after the gun shows. We've got to go after the gun shops. They're selling guns that are then fenced to drug gangs in Mexico. And that's why there's 2,000 dead on the Texas-Mexico border. It's the evil Second Amendment. You go to a country like Mexico where the citizens are disarmed, and you have hundreds of murders every single day. Yes, hundreds of murders, over 100 murders every day in Mexico. Because once a society becomes that corrupt, everything breaks down. No one follows the law anymore. So you've got all the peasants disarmed with huge roving gangs, different gangs inside the government, every major government official dealing heroin, cocaine, constantly being caught, just in a huge war with each other, the lesser cartels, hundreds of little crime syndicates battling the big Chase Manhattan Citibank crime syndicate based in Mexico City and New York. And so rather than the Houston Chronicle say, wait a minute, hundreds of thousands a year in Houston alone, and this has actually been in their paper before, hundreds of thousands, yes, you can pull those numbers up, hundreds of thousands of violent criminals, of felons being released just from their metro jails. They arrest them. The police arrest them with guns, arrest them driving drunk recklessly. They're just released because the judges, on record, say there's nothing we can do about it. The feds won't come pick them up. They won't take them. They release them. So understand that. Even if the police want to do their jobs, they are just released. But then the American people have to be harassed and treated like complete and total serf slaves. But crime of every type is exponentially expanding. I mean, it's on Austin News every day about a carjacking or another dead body they fish out of the river, of a dead woman who was, kidnapped and raped. I mean, every day we hear about home invasions and old ladies being beaten half to death by criminals. And ladies and gentlemen, about half the time here in Austin, it is an illegal alien doing it. And I'm not saying that Mexico is nothing but criminals, though they're having national marches of millions of people talking about how it's becoming a completely criminal state, and the citizens are just begging for it to end to the very government that's engineering it. But the criminals of Mexico know that California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and now into Mississippi, Louisiana, up into Indiana, everywhere is the happy hunting ground. This is a place where you can rape, steal, kill, use any identity you want. The Mexican consulate will give somebody 50, 60, 70, 100 different consular matriculas for $22 a piece. And with those fake IDs, they can then get Social Security, they can get jobs, they can get fake IDs, they can suck off the welfare system, bankrupt the states. This is happening. Total breakdown of society is taking place on the border and hundreds of miles over the border. And what's the Border Patrol doing? They're 100 miles deep in the country, pulling citizens over at checkpoints, because we are the milk cows. We are the fat slobs. We are the dumbed-down people with this image of a free country in our minds, and it can't happen here. And the public was taught that tyranny is a good thing, that tyranny is freedom. They believe that tyranny is freedom, that war is peace, that slavery is empowerment. They believe that lies are truth. As every single day I see articles about Texas sheriffs caught dealing cocaine. Every day I see reports of police chiefs caught dealing cocaine, or their daughters dealing cocaine, or their wives dealing cocaine, or their police captains dealing cocaine, heroin, ecstasy. It is a completely bankrupted, corrupt society. And it was done by design, exactly the way the British introduced opium to China, and over several decades used the fact that it was illegal to make massive black market products, profits, to corrupt the police and local constabulary and then bring down the nation and divide it into 10 separate parts. This is the type of real issues that we're dealing with here. The globalists are strip mining us, are subdividing us, are completely blowing us out and ruining us by design so they can then suck up all of the spoils. Here is the Washington Post today. Pentagon to detail troops to bolster domestic security. And it dovetails with the CBS News and AP articles of last week. Also, the Air Force Times headline, Gates Air Force active reserves must integrate. They are getting rid of the National Guard. Just huge things that are happening right in front of us, and that is coming up in the next hour. The entire setup is stated to remove Congress and remove governors, remove the elected representatives in the legislative at the state and federal level under the John Warner Defense Authorization Act and under PDD 51. And then any U.S. citizen can be secretly stripped of citizenship by any military officer or Homeland Security officer, secretly arrested, secretly taken to offshore facilities, secretly tortured, and secretly executed. And it's all right there in the Military Commissions Act. Go read it. Go read the articles we wrote about it in detail, showing you the subsections linking to it. And people are marveling right now that everything I talked about is coming true. Well, don't marvel. Here's the parallel or the parable or the analogy. The parallel. It'd be like if I told my wife on a Sunday morning, hey, the NFL's going to have games all day starting at 3 o'clock. And then she went in and turned on the TV at 3 o'clock, and there was, the Jets playing the Giants. And she, oh my gosh, how did you know? How did you understand it? How did you? Well, I read the TV guide, honey. Or if my wife said to me, hey, Survivor's coming on tonight at 8 o'clock. And then Survivor came on, and I said, how did you know? You're psychic. She'd say, no, I read the TV guide. Still, though, even as it's all being announced, there are people all over the news, all over the message boards, everywhere, running around saying, I'm lying, this isn't happening. Those are definitely paid-for shills, folks. And when they attack me, the messenger, it's always about Alex Jones, never about what I'm saying or what I'm doing. It's he's a Fed, or he's getting rich off this, or he's everything that's in the COINTELPRO manuals to attack somebody who's trying to fight the New World Order. So just recognize when you see that, it's about debating about Alex Jones, because I'm the most effective at getting this out, thanks to you, the listener, spreading the word. It's a symbiotic team effort here. They are desperate to try to divert you. Now, I'm going to tell you again, it's not just in all the documents that this is a criminal organization, that this is a foreign corporate move using the military, not our military, not the U.S. military, now the globalist military, under United Nations and international corporate control, to carry out a rear guard action in the United States to militarize the police, to federalize the police, to have the police work with the Army in drug interdiction, in anti-terror operations, in surveillance of the American people, and in surveillance of the government, the legitimate government. And that's in all the announcements they're making, that they're spying on peace groups, they're spying on state legislators, they're spying on prominent business leaders. Military intelligence, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force are on the ground. You see the public face of this out at a city fair or function. You'll have the National Guard or regular Army MPs or regular Air Force MPs. They're just there to acclimate you and acclimate the natives to their presence and acclimate the troops and the police. But when you read what they're now announcing publicly, it's what was in all the previous classified and semi-classified and redacted documents. It was all there. And it is regular military involved in your everyday life, in the schools, brainwashing and recruiting your children to be domestic spies. That's in there. At checkpoints, and then doing lots of PR. Helping at car accidents. Using Army helicopters to airlift people in auto accidents. Again, training you to have the military involved in your everyday life. They're there as the rear guard as the U.S. is imploded and broken up into pieces. This is being done by design.